Hi, how are you doing today? Hope everything is working fine around you. Today we shall be talking about the causes of depression in teens. The exact reason behind why a young person develops depression remains unknown. However, there are several factors that have been reported to contribute to its potential development, which includes some of the factors I will be talking about today. So thank you for listening to this episode. I hope it's helpful. One is genetics. Genetics is a common cause of depression to women, men, and teenagers. We need to understand this. Of course, many studies have hypothesized that depression is genetic and that people with blood relatives, such as grandparents or parents who have been diagnosed with depression, may have an increased predisposition to developing the condition themselves. So this is very, very vital. Secondly, hormones. The hormone shifts and subsequent hormone imbalances that the adolescents experience could be involved in triggering or causing depression for them. If we are familiar with the development of children, we will understand that at a point in time they begin to have a switch, a shift in their emotional life. At this point, if care is not taken, they may likely, have depression. And number three is brain chemistry. This also is common to all genders because, there is a chemical in our bodies that carries signal to other parts of the brain and body. So when these are impaired or abnormal, so the function of the nerve receptor and nerve system is once brain are altered, which can result in the development of depression. This is very, very important. And the next one I want to talk about among the causes of depression for teen is exposure to trauma, exposure to early childhood trauma, such as emotional abuse, physical abuse, neglect, or when there are certain needs are not met, to lead to changes in one's brain's development and structure. It means creating new neural pathway solely to accommodate and store the trauma. That may make a person more susceptible to developing depression. This is very, very important. So I want to encourage our parents at home, to be careful the way they handle their children because they are fragile and they are vulnerable. So whatever you are doing, we have to be very, very careful as we relate to them. Whatever they are exposed to may lead to a trouble very, very soon. And the next one is, the feeling of helplessness. When they learn feelings of helplessness, the development of teenager depression could be linked to learned patterns of negative thinking and feelings of inadequacy. This is another factor that's very, very important. So the youth, a teenager, needs to boost their energy, boost themselves up, and listen to those things that could be of help to them, encourage them, and make them feel positive about themselves and adequate about themselves. Another one I want to talk about is substance use. Substance use. This is a serious issue in our society today because some teenagers, turn to drug and or alcohol as a coping mechanism for managing the stressors of adolescence. So why, for some, this could result in fleeting, relief. Its effect on the teen's mood, it's all done in teens mode, and depending on the substance and the brain, all this could trigger depression when they turn to drugs, alcohol, substance use. Could eventually lead to this problem. So depression can develop in a young person that is not exposed to any of the above examples also. Similarly, a teenager that is exposed to one or more of the above mentioned point, can also, develop depression. Why adolescents are faced with a plethora of difficulty throughout their teenage years, most of which they are, ill-equipped to handle emotionally. So the development of depression is not and should not be considered a foregone conclusion. And that's why we need to pay, more attention to our teens and give them as much support as possible. If we don't help them today, if we don't do something about it today, if we don't pay attention to them today, we may not like what may likely happen tomorrow. We may not be able to handle, the repercussion of the neglect we give to them today. However, when the loss of loved ones also could result to depression for them. If someone close to them dies, it is hard to deal with it. So it can change how they think about everything around them. Another thing is stress and the pressure, which I talked briefly about the other time. Many things feel under pressure at school because they get bad grades. This, can lead to depression. It's very, very important that we take note of this, especially parents. And of course, bullying can also lead to depression. Many things are bullied for different reasons, such as being overweight or, having a different look or whatever in their schools, among their friends. So the parent must, calm down to their level to relate with this youth and know what they are going through as much as possible. You need to make them feel comfortable to be able to help them. This is very, very important. And also, serious illnesses can lead to depression for them. Serious illnesses when they are sick, or sometimes, or that sickness is not well taken care of, or they are not well taken care of, will lead to sickness for them. And of course, conflict could lead to depression for them. And the last one I want to talk about is teenage pregnancy. When a young girl is pregnant and not knowing what she's going to meet at home, all this they begin to think about it. It will lead to depression. These are all things we have mentioned indirectly before now. So please watch out and check out your teenagers in the house and see what they are struggling with. They will not tell you. It requires sensitivity for us to pick some of all these symptoms that we have mentioned. And I hope you will pick one or two things, and the parents out there will listen to this episode to be able to deal with their things as expected, so that they will not fall victim of teens depression. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Until I come your way again, if you have any question for me, drop it at the chat box down there. Thank you for joining today and for connecting today. See you later. Bye.